So why is gaming sentiment bad? And this gaming sentiment isn't bad because of crypto investors. It's bad because broadly all investors have looked at gaming negatively because one, gaming post-COVID has not grown. So a lot of people didn't realize that. But frankly, it makes sense, right? Metaverse and gaming was accelerating like crazy because everyone thought we'd just been living in our living room in our bedroom and never leave home. And lo and behold, post-COVID, we started traveling like crazy. And gaming didn't radically drop, kind of like what happened with Zoom or Peloton, but it basically stayed fairly flat with a slight decline. But the slight decline is what's fascinating. Two factors. One, declining birth rates in developing countries. So it just means less customers. So there's a slow decline, right?
Okay.
Of course, as you get older, you play games still, but the uptick isn't the same, right? The second factor is pricing for gaming up until the Nintendo Switch launch has stayed the same.
Okay.
And Nintendo Switch only launched in June. So we're talking really recent. So the effects haven't been felt yet.
Right.
So you're paying the same for a game, basically as you paid 10 years ago. Whereas, how many trillions of dollars have we basically printed into the market? Right? The cost of milk is higher, cost of labor is higher, cost of groceries is higher, but cost of games is the same. So in real money terms, game studios have been making less money. So what's the news in the game studios? Lower profits, laying off people, cost optimization. So it's been a slow type of decline over the last really 4 or 5 years. And that's been impacting tokens as a whole. And which comes to my final point. The people who buy tokens are part of your game, but they don't play your game. And the people who play your game aren't necessarily the ones who buy your token. So the Venn diagram of the people who do both is actually very small, probably less than 10%. So that means you have to appeal to the token holders. That means you have to tell them the investor story as well. And then for the gamers, you have to tell them the gaming story. Now, this is something that most Web3 kind of game companies do not do, right? They either focus on one or the other and don't understand the nuance between them because they haven't run public companies. They don't understand the dynamic. So that's all part of that, right? So when Sammy came to us with Cross the Ages and we had a chat, he realized very quickly he was great at making games.
Peter Thiel took $500,000 and turned it into $1 billion using the exact same techniques we're using inside the investment club. He met his CEO, his name was Zuckerberg. He pitched him the deal and he said, okay, I'll give you $500,000. Mark went public and sold the shares to people like you. Well, what happened to Peter? Well, he exited and got a 2,300x return. The wealthy invest in early stage companies, folks. The public markets are for suckers. It's a rigged game. By the way, this happens in crypto as well. It's called pre-sale tokens. This is Solana. Does anybody know this chain? They sold pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. And you can see the date on there, April 5th, 2018. Look at Solana today, folks. That thing's up over 1,000x. The media and Wall Street and all these hype people get you to buy the top. Meanwhile, they put their clients in at the bottom and they use you for liquidity to make their clients rich. You can play this same game. You just have to have the financial education and the deal flow. That's it.
But he didn't understand the investor relations nuance. But he recognized that the people who bought the token are not the people who play the game. And that was an assumption many of us, included ourselves, incorrectly made when the whole Web3 gaming and blockchain gaming thing really accelerated, because we made an assumption that people who buy the tokens are also going to play the game. Turns out to be not the case. There was a much smaller ratio. But the ones who came from Web 2 into Web 3, they rejected the token holders. And it was even worse. They were like, we don't care about you guys. We don't care about gamers, because they came from the mindset of the people who play the game are going to be all the fun.
Right.
And actually that we've seen also backfire as well.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to merge both. It's a new paradigm. And so I think this is just the evolution. So we're getting better at this, recognizing that a token holder is a part of your meta game. It's part of your holdings. He's part of your community. He promotes you. He talks about you. You need to incentivize him. But the game you play with him is different than the game you play with the gamer, right? They're still part of the ecosystem. So I think of that as an evolution. So all these factors together are essentially going to create this perfect storm, we think, where gaming is basically going to sort of have its big moment again, because it is still the cheapest, fastest, and most broadest form of entertainment. And also, we still believe very much it is, from a classic, let's call it Apple design principle, it's the most skeuomorphic form of crypto adoption there is from a design standpoint.
Skeuomorphic.
Yeah. So
does that mean?
skeuomorphism is I guess is what you call it when you try to create something that, from a design standpoint is very similar to your real life experience. And Apple was a master at this. So if you remember the very first interfaces at Apple, when you flipped the page,
yeah,
it was a flip. It looked like you were flipping a book.
Right, like momentum.
That was old. That was the old interface. They removed all that because basically new generations don't read books anymore, so it doesn't matter, right? But and also things like, for instance, when you make a phone call, it has a handle. Like, my kids have no idea what that handle is. They just, but why did they have that sort of, phone handle? Because it was to tell us,
right,
to say that design tells you it's meant to be for a phone call. So I recognize that. So that's skeuomorphism.
Okay.
And when we say sort of skeuomorphic design for tokens, gaming tokens, as in virtual currencies, are closest examples of essentially crypto tokens. And skins can be forms of NFTs, or ownership in games can be essentially forms of digital assets you own. So the gaming audiences, and we see this in Asia, are most natural forms of users that can really understand on-chain activity.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.